Hello, and welcome to today's lesson, which is rounding. Now, I'm going to split this up into three parts for rounding, because there's three different types of methods that we use for rounding, and they are rounding to a decimal place, rounding to a significant figure, and truncating as well. So, when you're getting these down in your notes, make sure you're splitting them up into three separate parts, and make sure you're writing the titles as you go along. Okay, so let's get started. So, our first question here is just rounding to normal decimal places. So the way we do this, let's just read these steps here. So imagine underlining the required accuracy. So in this case, it says 1 decimal place. So that is going to be the 4 in between the 2 and the 9. You look at the number after the last line. So you look at the one which is next to it. If it's 5 or above, then you round up. And if it's 4 or below, then it stays the same. So it's either rounded up or it's staying the same. So in this case here, let's write this one down as example 1. Example 1, here we've got 42.49048. So we're rounding to 1 decimal place. So I'm going to underline my first decimal place. So this is the one that I am looking at. If it's 5 or above, I round up. If it's 5 or below, I stay the same. So in this case, I'm staying the same. So it's going to be 42.5 to 1 decimal place. Perfect. Okay, let's have a look at the next one. So we've got 3 here for us to have a go at. Okay, so let's go example 2, just to get it in our books. We might as well do a few of these. Example 2. So this one here says round 1.04907 to 1 decimal place. Now I have picked this one on purpose because the first decimal place is the first number straight after that decimal point. So in this case, it's equal to 0. And this is the number I'm going to be looking at. So the question is it 5 or above, so round up, or is it 4 and below? Well, it's 4 and below, which means I stay the same. Now, this doesn't mean that you can just write this as 1. It wants it to 1 decimal place. So if this 0 is staying the same, it's going to be 1.0 to 1 decimal place. That's example 2. You do need to have that 0. Okay? So let's have a look at example 3. So example 3. So here you have 9.66872 to 2 decimal places. So this one here is a little bit different because it's the second decimal place. So it's your second decimal place I'm looking at. So 1, 2. So there's your second decimal place. So this is the number that I'm going to be looking at. So if it's 5 and above, I round up. If it's 4 and below, it stays the same. So this one here is going to round up. So that one there is going to be 9.6. This is the only one that rounds up. So 7 in that case. And that's to 2 decimal places. Like so. We'll do one more, which is going to be to 3 decimal places. I do have a harder one for us to have a look at as well. So in this case, 72.6891, and we want that to 3 decimal places. So where's my third decimal place? Well, my third decimal place is going to be this 9. So I'm looking at this 1 here. So it's 5 or above, I round up. 4 and below, I stay the same. So this one is going to stay the same at 72.689 to 3 decimal places. Remember to get all of those in your book. The only way to learn maths is to do it. Okay, brilliant. So I do have a harder example here. And this one's a little bit trickier. Only a little bit trickier. So we're going to do both of these. This is example 5. Example 5, is it? Yeah, example 5. So here we've got 49.9945, and the first one, they want it to 1 decimal place. Exactly the same technique. I'm going to underline that first decimal place. This is the one I'm going to be looking at. So it's 5 and above, it means I round up. Now the problem I've got is that this number here, if I round up, I need to increase that number. But that there, I can't increase 9. Increasing 9 is going to be 10. So that's going to become 0, and then I put a 1 over to the other side. If I increase this by another 1, that's also going to be 10. So I need to put a 0 there and increase that one to the other 5, to add 1 to this one. So here, this one here is going to go from 9 to 10, which means I need to add 1 to the next one. If I add 1 to this one, this is going to go from 9 to 10 as well. So this is also going to be a 0. And I need to add 1 to the next one. And then this one here, if I add 1 to this one, becomes 5. Now you still need this 0, and that's going to be to 1 decimal place. So that's the first one. To 2 decimal places, 49.9945 to 2 decimal places. Well, with this one, my second decimal place is here. I'm going to be looking at this one here. So that means 4 and below, it stays the same. So this one here is just going to be 49.992 decimal places. Brilliant. So that there is rounding to decimal places. So that's the first part done. We should have had a side title there as decimal places. Okay. We're going to move on to the next one now, which is significant figures. So here, let's write our title, significant Now they give you a little example here. So suppose it's your 11th birthday and 16,439 people attend. If you were casually saying to someone how many people came, what figure might you quote? So you notice that it took me a bit of a while to say that one. You'd probably say something along the lines of, it was about 16,000 people. That's probably what you'd say, okay? Now, this next part is really important. So I want you to make sure you're getting this down in your notes. Now, this is exactly the same as rounding. However, the difference is, part A here, you'll notice, I'm going to make this bigger so you can see. Because this is really important, this. I'd say get to these down in your notes, because significant figures is the one that people always get wrong. So part A, we start counting from the first non-zero digit. Not the decimal point, the first non-zero digit. So it's basically from the first number. And if we have, if we're rounding a large number, we need to zero out any digit before the decimal point not used. Well, we'll talk about this in a second. If we've got something, let's say like 17,400, we're not just going to write the number 17, we're going to write 17,000. So let's have a go at the question that they've got us here. So this would be back to example 1, because it's a different topic. So example 1, and it says 694, and they want it to 3 significant figures. So that number there is 375,694. So if they want it to 3 significant figures, I start at the first non-zero value, which in this case is equal to the 3. So I go 1, 2, 3. So that's the one I'm looking at here. This, the number next to it, so it's still the same, is going to be telling me whether I round up or stay the same. In this case, I can see that I'm going to round up. Now, when I round up here, I'm not just going to write 376, because this number was 375,000. 694. So when I'm doing this for big numbers, I've got to make sure I keep those zeros on there so it represents the thousands, okay? So it's 376,000, okay? You've got to keep those like that. Okay, so there's the first example. Let's go at a few more of these. I've got a few of these actually. So let's have a go at example 2. So example 2, we've got 0.0008832, and they want that to 3 significant figures. Now it says you always start with your first non-zero digit, and in this case that is the 8. So here 1, 2, 3 significant figures is here. So all of these are 0. 1, 2, 3. This is a 2, which means it's going to stay the same. So if I'm rounding this to 3 significant figures, it's going to be 0.00883. Let's have a look at example 3 in our case. It's question 2 on there. So this says 52,360, and he wants it to 1 significant figure. So my first significant figure in this case is this 5. So that's what I'm going to underline. This is the number I'm going to be looking at. So it stays the same because it's less than 5, so that's just going to be equal to the 5 there, like so. However, this is 52,000. When I'm rounding this, you need to make sure that you are keeping it as the 50,000 part. It's in the thousand section, so I need here 0, 0, 0, 0. It needs to stay as 50,000. It can't just be 5. I can't round 52,000 to 5. The 52 means the 5 stays the same, but it needs to be 50,000. So let's have a look now at example 4. So example 4. So this one here, it says 3.07223, rounded to 2 significant figures. My first non-zero value is this 3, so that's where I'm starting. So I'm going to go 1, 2 significant figures. This is the number I'm looking at. This is the number which determines whether I move up or down, up or stay the same. In this case, I'm moving up, I'm rounding up. So it needs to be 3.1 to 2 significant figures. 2 significant figures. So, 2 more to do. So here I've got, this is example 5, I think. So it's going to be 3.07223. That's the last one I've done, isn't it? What a silly Billy. So this next one is 7.68032, and that's to 3 significant figures. So my third significant figure here is 1, 2, 3, which is there. This is the one I'm going to be looking at. I know that it's 0, so it's going to stay the same. So this one's going to be 7.68, like so. So that's significant figures. There's one more little thing that we need to do. Now this next one is really easy. So I have included it just because I think we should be able to do it quite quickly. So here it's called truncate. So this is the first part, truncate. Now make sure you get this in your notes. To truncate, it means to cut off without rounding. So I'm literally just chopping it where it is. Okay? So cut off just means to cut off with no rounding at all. So here, if I've got 1.42969, and I want to truncate this to one decimal place. Literally, what I do is I find that first decimal place, which is there, and I just cut off everything from there. So it's literally just 1.4. So that there is example 1. Example 2. So this one here, 79.0124. This is to 2 decimal places, truncating. Well, second decimal place is there. Truncate means to cut off. So I just end up with 79.01. Last one. Example 3. 3.6219. So 3 decimal places. So that's going to be this one here that I look at. Now usually I'd round this up, but truncate just means you cut it off. So I get rid of it. So to end up with 3.621. Just cut it off. That's what truncate means. Brilliant. So we've done 3 parts there. We've done rounding to decimal places. So that's the amount of numbers after that decimal point. Rounding significant figures, which is where you go from your first non-zero value, and then you either zero out if it's like 1,000, or if it's a decimal, you just round it. And the last one is truncate, which just means you chop it off. So when you've got it here, chop it off. You've got it here, chop it off. You've got it here, chop it off. So have a go at these questions here. Pop them up so you can see them. Have a go at those questions. So the first ones are just rounding to the decimal place. So looking at the number after the decimal point. The next one means truncate, so just chop off. And the last one is significant figures. So pause now, have a go at those, and I'm going to reveal the answers in 1 second. Okay, here's your answers. Make sure you're marking those in green. Pause to mark them in green if you need to. Okay, well done today. That was the lesson on rounding for decimals, significant figures and truncation. Remember, the only way to learn maths is to do it. So make sure you're having a go at these, do them in your notes, and have a wonderful day.